Hi, I'm Jacob, and this is my Illustrator project. This is my first attempt at using Adobe Illustrator. Description: my learning goal was just to learn the basics of Adobe Illustrator. I didn't focus so much on the outcome as much as I did the process of learning everything and just getting through it, learning how to use all of the different tools and such. This was the end result, as now I know how to use Illustrator, although I don't have much to show for it. My learning goal was to know how to use Illustrator if I ever needed it for a different project. If I needed to create a vector graphic or a 3D image for whatever reason, I would have the skill set to be able to do it. Learning overview. I don't have much in the way of projects because, like I said, that wasn't so much my focus. Most of my project, I just would open a document and play around with a certain tool, like the 3D perspective tool or the gradient tool, something like that. And then when I was done, when I figured and I felt like I had a good grasp on it, I would delete the project, which I should have saved it so that I had more to show for my work. But live and learn. This worked as I knew what I was doing because on my final, I'd be able to go in and say, okay, here's what I want to do. I knew how to do it when I needed it. By the time I realized I had no actual projects, it was two or 3 weeks in, and I just had a bunch of documents that I had been playing around on. Most of them were deleted anyways, but I do want to show you. I made a little bit, just my first time playing with the 3D perspective tool. This is just me kind of playing around with the buttons a little bit, just learning what they do, sliding the different parts of the tool. And then this is me using the the pencil tool to create a vector graphic. Basically what I did here is I used the pencil tool and I traced her face, and then I went over here to the eyedropper tool and I just filled it in. Basically what you do there is you'll go to the eyedropper tool, you'll go over and you want to find a light color, a light part of her face, and it'll shade it in with the same color as whatever part of her face that you clicked on. So I use like her right cheek, kind of about right there, then filled it in. And then I did the same thing to her hair. You can see me tracing it there, and then I filled it in. There you go. Plan overview. I learned to account for big problems. To start, I didn't have this application on my computer at the very beginning of the project, so it took some time to get it downloaded. And then once I had it downloaded, about a week into it, the application crashed, and I lost one of the projects I was working on, and didn't have the application, so it took some time to get it back. And then I still didn't have that project, so I had to kind of start from square one again. Um, I learned to account for big problems, obviously. I followed my plan as closely as I could, given everything that happened. I did need to adjust it because I wasn't able to do as much as I wanted to. I didn't get to learn the more advanced skills. I know more than the basics, but I still don't know as much as I would have liked. Um, and then here's my final. You can see in the top right, there's the original picture of Paul the Dean, and then in the bottom is the one that I traced and filled in her face, her shirt, her neck, and then her hand. I drew her hand on my own and added a little stick of butter, so you can see it's different because I didn't trace it, I drew it. And then the 3D perspective. This one didn't turn out as well as I had wanted it to. Um, I just I'm still pretty proud of it though because I know how to use the tool. I feel I'm competent with it. So even though it's not the best product, I'm happy with what I've done still. What I learned? I learned that I needed to pay more attention to the calendar. I focused so much on the learning that I missed out on the product. I need to save my projects to my desktop rather than into the application because when the application closed or when it crashed, it took my work with it. And had I saved to my desktop, I would have still had that work for when I had the application back, and then I could have gone through and opened it up through there. Um, Problem solving was huge because I started out having no idea what I was doing, and I kind of had to feel my way through it because I had to say, here's what I want to do. I had to say, I want to create a house, and I had to go through and learn how to do that. And then right here, like I was trying to make a shadow on the side of the house from the sun. Um, so I had to go through and figure out how to do that. The most exciting part of my project was finding a drawing of her hand that I was satisfied with. Right here, like I said, I drew her hand probably 20, 25 times. Um, go into it so it's a little bigger. You can see it's not the best, but after 25 times, this was the first one I was satisfied with, and I'm actually pretty proud of it. Um, Tutorials. I use these three tutorials, which I'll go through in a minute, and then the tool I use the most is this here, the bamboo. Um, it's really cool. It's a drawing pad. It plugs into your computer, and then you use this stylus, and this whole area is like an artboard. And when you use the stylus and you draw on it, it shows up on your computer. And that's what I use to trace her face in this one. Trace it and then fill in. It made it a lot easier, and it's a lot more precise with a pen than it is trying to trace things with your mouse on your computer. Um, and then I'll go to the tutorials, which I actually have them down here. I'll start here. There's the vector graphic tutorial, which is the one that I used to teach me how to make the Paula Deen picture. Here he goes through. See if I can find there. You can see where he fills it in. Very much the same as what I did. And then this is basics of Illustrator. This one moved pretty slowly, but it was still very good. It focused a lot on the swatches on the side here, which is a lot of your colors and your gradients, things like that, which is obviously very useful for anything. Like when you see here, you need to know your swatches to be able to know like how to edit your gradients, and then obviously what colors to use on all of these. And then this one taught me the 3D perspective, the grid tool. It was a really good tutorial. The narrator had a slight accent, which it wasn't difficult to understand, and it wasn't distracting. It was just a cool accent. That's all. Here's my final project one more time. Thank you for watching.